Do you know why a Java developer decided to hand in his resignation? It's because he didn't understand arrays. 1 second pause. Yes, a senseless pun to start the video. Quitting because he didn't understand the array of work, or simply because he never got a salary increase. He could never raise the array. Hi everyone, it's me again. I'm Patience, a vibe coder who likes to bring history into the production environment for some laughs. That senseless array joke above might seem like 2026 IT banter, but it turns out to be the ironic backdrop for an entire nation in the 19th century. In 1853, Japan's Tokugawa Shogunate was also operating a class-based feudal system with very rigid arrays of social structure, frozen for over 200 years of isolation. There's a classic joke in the IT industry. Hey, it works fine on my machine. And so devs casually ignore or want, letting the system run on pure faith until the server completely crashes. The Shogunate was the same. They were confident the national system was running great on their machine, until 4 giant black ships of the US Navy appeared off the coast of Edo. That wasn't a polite request sent via API. That was a straight-up DDoS threat against the national server. The US said, either open your ports for trade, or I'll shut down this entire system. Before we hit the run command, I'd like to deploy a hotfix regarding the data sources. You know, history is essentially a massive open source project, with far too many conflicting pull requests from various contributors. To avoid any academic copyright issues, I won't be quoting from any specific book or author in this episode. I've simply synthesized and recompiled the most stable build from open community sources to share with you. Looking at the neighboring servers at the time, their legacy systems were constantly hit by security vulnerabilities, with Western colonial hackers scraping their data. Japan realized isolationism was no longer sustainable. It was time for a format factory, wipe the hard drive, and reinstall the OS immediately. Welcome to episode 05, Meiji Restoration Final V1-0-exe. After the Foshin War, having reclaimed root access from the shogunate, Emperor Meiji, who was only 15 at the time, suddenly became the supreme product owner of the nation. And this PO issued a requirement change faster than the speed of light, demanding a total pivot of Japan's roadmap overnight. The requirement was, from a backward agrarian country, upgrade to a tech superpower configuration within 30 years, pre-integrated with heavy artillery and modern warships. The scariest part? This project had zero staging environment for bug testing. The go-live deadline was exactly 30 years, and the PO insisted on pushing straight to production, the real world. Classic high-stakes vibe coding on a national scale. The first major update was deployed in 1871, titled Abolition of the Han System. To centralize power, Admin Meiji decided to clean up a massive amount of technical debt. The samurai class. The noble samurai, who were VIP users with supreme access, suddenly received a system notification. Your VIP account has been deleted. Carrying swords in public is prohibited. The traditional top knot is also banned. Switch to a Western-style haircut immediately. Many samurai cried out, "Wait, admin, the top knot and the sword are Japan's exclusive features." The admin coldly replied, "No, those are bugs clogging the economic bandwidth. Deprecate them all. Go get a day job like everyone else." Because the deadline was so tight, there was no time for in-house R&D. Japan played the classic vibe coder move, clone repo from Stack Overflow. They sent a high-level delegation across Europe and America for nearly 2 years just to see what was trending, and then Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. See a strong navy? Right-click copy. See a great army over there? Ctrl+V. Stable legal system. Merge code now. They imitated everything from the external interface, wearing suits, top hats, even changing their diet to Western style. It was the ultimate mindset. I don't understand why this code makes them rich, but I'll copy their UI first and worry about the system logic later. But as you know, life isn't a dream. And code isn't theory. When you merge three completely different code bases from three different sources into one system, merge conflicts explode across the screen. A German-style army demanded iron discipline. British-style naval tactics required maximum flexibility at sea, while French-style law emphasized distinct civil rights. Mixing those three was a problem with no perfect solution. To keep the system from crashing, Japan's reformers had to break their backs writing hundreds of adapters to hide those underlying conflicts. And the ultimate masterstroke? They pulled out the Emperor as a supreme wrapper class. They wrapped all those conflicting military and civilian modules inside a single interface called the Emperor's Will. From the outside, the UI looked unified, smooth, and sacred. But inside, the source code was still clashing for resources. You know, sometimes sitting alone in a dark room, looking at the code, I just vibed with AI. It runs smoothly. It outputs the right result. But when I look inside, I see a mess. A patchwork of technical debt that even I'm afraid to read again. Japan in this era had those dark corners too. To meet the deadline of the age, to keep the system from crashing underneath its own, they accepted the loss of many old values. They exploited the labor of their people to the extreme to fund the national hardware upgrade. By 1889, they promulgated a new constitution, like an official readme.md, announcing to the world, Japan's system is stable, secure, and validated. They officially cleared all the bugs known as unequal treaties by 1911. Japan became one of the few nations outside Europe to escape the fate of colonization. But what was the price of building a system so fast without humanity unit tests? They accidentally created a severe virus that auto-activated in later versions. Extreme militarism. They became the invaders of their neighboring servers. It's the classic. Fix one bug, create a bigger, more dangerous one. And you know, if we check out Japan's repo at the current timestamp, 2026, we realize those lines of technical debt from that era haven't really been refactored yet. A notoriously complex bureaucracy, a hyper-aging society, an economy carrying a mountain of public debt. All those system errors haven't disappeared. They've just been commented out by subsequent generations to keep them out of sight, or thrown into a corner of the documentation with every programmer's immortal note. To do, fix later. But when later actually is, nobody knows. This era of history is proof. If a system knows how to pivot at the right time, it can flip the script spectacularly. But every architecture has its limits, and every sloppy line of code written late at night will eventually make you pay in production. Thank you for accompanying and supporting an unemployed vibe coder like me. If you found this historical update helpful, hit subscribe to give me more bandwidth to debug the next episodes. Today, I have a code review question for you. If you were a coder participating in the restoration project back then, which module would you write a unit test for? First, to prevent that militarism virus from spreading later. Leave a code comment below. I'm Patience. See you in the next commit. Status, commit pushed. See you in the next commit.